what's going on. So right here on the screen, this chick, she goes by the name JT, and she was a part of the hip hop duo known as the City Girls, right? So now they split for whatever reason, one reason or another, but that's irrelevant for this video. Now what I want to cover is, in my view, her her association with the dark arts, right, and her involvement behind the scenes in the music industry, and what most likely is really going on with this individual right here. So, what initially sparked my interest in her is I saw a photo of her with the what's her name, Michelle Laney. She's basically like a out of the closet open witch in Hollywood, right? That she rubs elbows with a lot of the stars, and you will see them in photos together. Like, what are they doing with this chick right here? It's because they're most likely she's raising their level of knowledge within the dark arts, right? She's doing rituals with them behind the scenes and all like that. That's why you would see someone like that photographed with all of these stars, similar to Marina Abramovich, right? She did the video with Jay-Z, where they're connecting their foreheads and he's rapping and all like that. That's how they get down behind the scenes. Like, why would he even know who that is and even want her to be in his music in his music video? Like, what kind of shit is that? But when you look at this individual in this photo, you can see that she's using the headphones with the B on it. The B is really, in my view, I think that's really supposed to be like a slick way of putting a 6 on it, but the B stands for Beats, for Dre Beats. But again, I don't believe that shit at all. But we see that she's using the headphone to obstruct her right eye in order to highlight the other one. The reason why a lot of people are confused about what this is, like they think it's just an all-seeing eye, which you can go there with it if you want. But the reason why celebrities do this is because obstructing one eye or over the other eye is a way of showing veneration to one or another deity. So I can't remember if it's the left eye for Hathor or in the right eye for Horus or Osiris, however you want to slice it up. Like the purpose of highlighting one eye over another is because they're very familiar with these Egyptian deities, and really a lot of deities from many different cultures. But and all of them spring forth from the Babylonian mystery system, or the Mesopotamian Kemetic mystery system. So now, in addition to her doing this thing where she's obstructing one eye over the other, when you look behind her, you see a bunch of wires leading up to the back of her head. I don't know if you peeped that. I guess you you probably would have thought it was just weave. And here's the thing: even if you type JT from City Girls in Google, you just see a bunch of photos of her. But if you type JT from City Girls Illuminati or something like that, add some on like a modifier like that on the end of it, they'll start pulling up photos like this, and the websites that you will see them on are not even making mention of Illuminati or anything like that. So clearly, the algorithm or the AI knows to put this in your face when you when you type in some shit like that. They already know what you're looking for, and they know what the AI, the algorithm itself, knows what these types of photos mean. So, and she tried to deny it when her fans called her out that she was involved in that. But people are not as stupid as they were a decade or 2 decades ago in regards to what these stars are getting involved in behind the scenes. Now, back to the wires behind her head, right? That's obviously, to me, that says that she's an MK asset, right? That she's under the programming, right? When you look at a movie, there's a movie titled Perfection, The Perfection. And it basically talks about, or it's a movie about these girls. They go to this school where they're learning how to perfect their craft on the cello, right? And they have a teacher. They go to this school and they live there as little girls. And what's exposed is that the guy who's their teacher, he's doing a lot of perverted stuff to the girls, but he's having them to perfect their craft. And there's 2 different scenes in the movie where there's like a, they flash to the white chick who was the original star that he worked with and built her up and made her into a mainstream mega celebrity. But there's two scenes that where it flashes to her having like electrical prongs hooked up to the back of her head. But go watch that movie. It's a very bugged out ass movie, but they're basically showing you what's going on. And the biracial chick in the movie, she played in the movie Dear White People. But they're letting you know basically what's going on in the background and the histories of a lot of these stars. Many of them have fabricated origin stories. Many of them are not who or what we're told that they are, and they thrust them into the limelight as if they're just a natural celebrity that just had a natural rise to fame and just worked hard and got the right connections, which they do that. They work hard and they get connections, but there's another element to their rise to stardom that we're not allowed to be privy to on an overt level, but they throw hints when they put shit like this in your face. Now, Donny Hathaway, he told his best friend that this is what his best friend said, that he said, white people, I woke up with my head hooked up to a machine to computers, and white people were trying to steal my musical ideas, and they're trying to kill me. And then next thing you know, he falls from a window to his death. Donny Hathaway, one of my favorite stars from back in the day. When I found that out about him, I'm like, wow. That's what his friend said that he told him. So with this JT individual, we're gonna delve into what might be going on with her behind the scenes, what we're able to see from what we've gathered so far, right? From what they put out there. These are just photos of her and the chick she was in a group with. Right? They put this stuff out there for you to be able to decode it and see, what's going on yourself. Or, it may not even be that, but you just have to have the ability to go, I see what they're trying to say right here. But we're going to go over a few more photos of her, and, you come to whatever conclusion you want to come to, right? So before we decide to actually get to the photos that I really want to go over, I want to also cover this article from TMZ that was making mention of a split between these two individuals known as the City Girls, JT, Young Miami, whatever. And what it states here is City Girls, JT, Miami throw shade during eclipse, end, end of an era. Now, why does it seem to be that TMZ is aligning the ending of an era or the ending of this hip hop duo with the solar eclipse? Right? Why does it seem that they seem to believe, in my view, that the fallout in this group is aligned with astrology, right? Because in TMZ, they are aware of what goes on really for real behind the scenes in regards to all of these stars and their belief in Wiccan, witchcraft, uh, magic, sorcery, whatever you want to call it. Right? They're totally aware of what this is really about, this fallout, and what's behind it. It has something to do with astrology, right? They fall out on the solar eclipse. TMZ took note of that. This is not me asking this question, right? TMZ is asking this question, and really they're not asking the question. They're really pointing out to you what's really going on. That there's a backbone of astrology and sorcery behind the fallout of this group. The fallout could have been scripted. It could have been scripted. It could just be bullshitting there, trying to gain more attention for themselves, during the collapse of their group. Maybe their glory was meant to, end right here according to whatever they're engaging in behind the scenes, tarot cards or whatever the fuck they're doing, Ouija, whatever the fuck these weird ass people are doing. Who the fuck knows, right? But we're just, we're gathering what we can from what they're giving us, right? So let's move on. All right, so now we see this right here, right? So when you look to the left of the photo, you see it says transcendence. Now the word transcendence means to experience or to exist in a realm above or outside of the physical realm, in the spiritual realm. That's what transcendence means, right? And in Hollywood circles, and even outside of Hollywood circles, just period, people engage in what's known as transcendental meditation, right? It's a it has a lot to do with the occult. It has a lot to do with witchcraft. That comes out of really, it comes out of the Babylonian Kemetic mystery system, like all this other stuff. But they're very big on that in India today, right? But now when we're analyzing the photo, we see what? We see the black and white for duality, or the coming together of opposites. And we see, just like in the photo that I started off with this, that I started this video off with, we see them covering the same exact eye, the right eye, that she was covering in the solo photo, but she was just by herself. We see that both of them, and they're covering each other's eye, because most likely these two were probably twin programmed. They're probably under a form or a level of MK Ultra programming where people are twin together, like their programming causes them to twin to one another, or to tether to each other, right? But again, the black and white for duality and the dark arts, that's a very major concept in the dark arts, the black and white for duality, because they're very big on the coming together of opposites. They see a lot of power behind that. So just like you have in society, you have a major theme of red and blue, right? So you have you have the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, red and blue. In boxing, you have the red corner and the blue corner. In Star Wars, you have the red saber and the blue saber. And you can go on and on and on. And the red and the blue is meant to symbolize fire and ice, right? That's the point of the red and the blue, because those are opposites, right? And they venerate fire and ice in these occultic circles. They see a lot of power in this whole sort of concept of duality and the coming together, or the bringing together of opposites, right? As above, so below, or the Hegelian dialectic. The ends justify the means, right? So let's continue. Now, right here, we see the same concept of duality, right? The white and the black and the white, the coming together of opposites. And we see their ponytail being tethered together, meaning that what? Again, the concept of duality, right? Opposites coming together, and then also symbolizing that most likely they're under the programming, right? They've been tethered together. They've been twin programmed. See what I mean? Let's continue, man. Now we see right here they're wearing the checkerboard, and one is wearing the zebra print. Or both of them, they're both wearing the zebra print in just an ugly ass dress, but they're both wearing the checkerboard and the black and white for duality once again. Let's continue. The coming together of opposites. This is Young Miami, I believe. I'm pretty sure that is. Yeah, yeah, Young Miami. Right, she's got on the checkerboard, the Masonic checkerboard dress. Right, they come once again, like I already stated, ad nauseum, right? In the last video I did on this topic of the black mass or the satanic mass, I went over it over and over and over again. The coming together of opposites, the black and white for duality. Here they are again, they're tethered together. Through their ponytail, through the hand gesture, they're tethered together. The black and white for duality. Once again, this is a group or a duo, in my view, that's an MK duo, right? They are under the twin programming in the MK Ultra program. Let's continue. And a lot of times these people, they don't necessarily have to know, or really have no idea that they're under programming, right? In the book Bryce Taylor did, Thanks for the Memories, she talked about how you could not know, or you could be disassociated with these various different altars that you have programmed within you. Right? Let's continue. Okay, that's okay, I already covered this right here. But we're gonna go over into her associations with Michelle Laney and what's this guy, Lil Uzi Vert, the little bisexual dude that you know on his Instagram. I think his pronouns was they or some shit like that, basically meaning that they're non-binary. They don't believe in gender. Right. So in other words, he's a bisexual or a pansexual. Right. Meaning what? He's probably not even just sleeping with both men and women. He's also sleeping with trans, and he's probably also doing things with animals. maybe even people who are underage as well. But let's continue.